Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to whatever this is, a movie review for the movie Old, I suppose, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It's based on a short story, and you probably recognize me normally for talking about music on YouTube and are feeling a little bit confused right now. Well, I've had an idea for years for a movie-themed channel, and I'm not saying that that's happening right now. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, if I can find a way to make it work, but I have been feeling more inspired to talk about both new and old things related to this, so if you have an interest in that, then let me know in the comments section down below and by liking this video. All I knew about Old going into it is that it was based on a short story, that I had seen the little teaser where they were on the beach and everybody was getting old very rapidly, and the fact that it was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It's not an entirely original concept, of course, given the source material that he based it on, and he made some M. Night Shyamalanisms, something where you can tell that he had a hand in writing the entire thing, making sure that that dialogue stuck, and making the characters feel less than human. That is one of the recurring themes of his entire career, and it's still very surprising to me that studios are just like, yes, let's put his name up in the marquee lights as kind of the shining star for why people should go see this, because obviously the Shyamalan twist, that was a thing for a while with films like The Sixth Sense and also The Village. I do think that he's had a bit of a comeback with films like The Visit that I definitely got something from, but there's still a lot of problems and inconsistencies that plague the material that he puts out. This is a very weird type of movie because despite the fact that I'm going to be giving it a very harsh critique, I also think it's one that you should make time to watch, maybe not in a theater, but also maybe at the same time, just so you can gauge the reaction of the audience members around you. I saw it in a rather crowded theater myself, and I was looking around as I physically cringed throughout the movie. There are many things and many choices that are made, not just from an acting perspective, but the ways that they go there with the film's concept about people, including children, aging very, very rapidly on a beach in just one day. The decisions are just almost borderline grotesque, and I found myself just sitting there almost tensed up the entire time. There's a slow start to the film, and I don't think it's a spoiler at all to talk about things that were included in the final trailers for the movie, despite the fact that I didn't watch those initially. I tend to skip out on the main trailers just so I don't see too much revealed. I like to kind of have a clear head going into it. But just the overall concept of people getting very old very fast, it's really intriguing. It's something that made me want to see this movie in the first place. But upon having watched it and having it bounce around in my head for the past 24 hours before hopping on camera to do this review, I feel that it's one of those things that just kind of gets weirder the closer you examine it. There's so many concepts and inconsistencies that are not really fleshed out, yet at the same time, they constantly dump narrative on us. That's an M. Night Shyamalan problem, and it's something that needs to be vetted if he's going to continue making feature-length thrillers. These are cardboard characters in kind of a cardboard scenario, and therefore, even though these events are taking place, there's no real reason to care. Why should I care about somebody that doesn't do anything or make an effort to actually stand out from the pack? These are all just people having terrible things happening to them, and they're happening without any real consequence or reason or emotion. There's also some really strange stuff in regards to the kids growing up very fast. Puberty happens during that time, and there's some inconsistencies in how the children act, whether they're still acting like they're 6 or 11, like the main characters are supposed to, or suddenly they've all grown up, because obviously if you're still a child mentally and maybe physically you're not, there's some weird things that can happen, and they take it there. Spoiler talk for a minute here, so hit the timestamp on screen if you want to skip past this to my final thoughts and rating. Point blank, this is a very frustrating movie to watch, and the inexplicable decisions that these characters and these actors are kind of forced to make, I think that it definitely falls on the screenplay, at least to a degree, and the writing and the direction and everything like that. But it's also a problem with the actors themselves that are so unconvincing. And somebody like Alex Wolff, who I've seen be amazing in a film like Hereditary, this is very disappointing. Not that he was the worst performance here, but again, the things that he was kind of forced to do. It took us in and out of his character. And I understand that confusion would be a major thing. If people are put in this situation where they're aging 50 years in a day, like every few seconds, that's days, and the life is flashing right before their eyes, and they have all of these weird feelings. But the way that they kind of express that, from both the young girl to the rapper that is on this little deserted beach with them, there's a lot of things that are not explained. This rapper named Mid-Size Sedan is stuck there with them, and he explains that both himself and his girl that he was seeing at the time had come here because she had recently been diagnosed with MS, an incurable, irreversible disease. Everybody there realizes that they have a medical condition, so obviously at the end of the movie, we get the wrap-up that says, hey, everybody here was an experiment, and you know how we knew that from the very start? Well, M. Night himself wrote himself into the script, into the screenplay, as a character that monitors them the entire time. He's posing as the tour guide that drops them off at the beach. He can't go any further, and I wonder why, because he can't really come back. There's a lot of weird things that are shown. They try to have some horror-esque sequences, especially when the character that has a calcium deficiency is kind of taking to the caves, not wanting to be seen by anyone else. She's kind of wrapped up looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings or something, really trying to be scary, but it's not at all. The ending felt like it should have happened 2 or 3 times before it actually flashed up old with the final title screen to carry us out to the credits. And they just kept giving us more gasoline for the fire to fuel, oh, what could have been going on with the whole experiment? Why were they on the beach? And then the survivors return. It probably should have wrapped up a little bit sooner, because this film feels extremely long, way longer than it actually was. Final thoughts on Old. I do think that this is worth watching for the fact that you're going to take at least some laughs or puzzles away from it that'll kind of make you think, like, what the hell were they doing or thinking? And some of the way that the actors get out their lines, it's definitely cringeworthy, and it's also a very cringe-inducing film, not in the sense of, oh, that was so cringe, like physically cringing at some of the stuff that's happening. You can't believe that they go there or do this or say that, and it just all unfolds very quickly, and for that reason, there is an entertainment value to it, even though I don't think it's actually a very good movie. The report card is in, and I'm giving Old a D. Thank you so much for watching this movie review on Old, the new one from M. Night Shyamalan, and I just wanted to address this in case I do it more in the future. My favorite YouTube critic, Chris Stuckmann, has retired from giving ratings to movies and really being critical of them unless it's something that he wants to praise, and that was a disappointing decision to me, although I do understand it. He wants to be more on the directing, filmmaker side. That's always been his aspirations, and I really do respect that. So yes, I am very much influenced by him. The report card rating system that I want to use for movies, that's also from him, so credit where it's due. Chris, thank you so much for everything that you've done over the years, and I wish you nothing but success in your filmmaking career.